It's a wrap for 2024 box office numbers. Some analysts predicted $8 billion in ticket sales, but box office numbers actually came in at $8.7 billion. That was down, though, 3% from 2023's $9 billion. Joining us now is Erik, Childress, founder of the Movie Madness podcast. He's on the scene for us. Erik, 2024 could have been worse, especially with the actors and writers strikes. And you say 2024 was a tough year for Lionsgate.
Yes, 2024 is definitely one of those years a studio would like to put behind them for good. So we won't do a full reminder of how bad it was, but suffice to say, it took until the end of the year for one of the releases to finish with over $40 million in the best Christmas pageant ever. Now, this weekend saw some hope, at least on the domestic side with Den of Thieves 2, their first #1 at the box office since the Hunger Games prequel back in 2023. Now, this film was actually a pickup from STX Entertainment, which sold off a number of their remaining releases years ago. The original Den of Thieves was a minor hit for them back in 2018, though I'm not really a fan of either film. The original was basically a warmed-over version of Michael Mann's Heat, and the sequel appears like it was trying to chase the kind of franchise destiny that the Fast and Furious films eventually had. A $15 million start, though, is not bad, though the ones holding the $40 million bill may think otherwise if this trails off to finish with less than that. Gerard Butler is certainly hoping this will continue another franchise for him. Lionsgate certainly is too, given that they have not distributed an original film to gross $100 million globally since Knives Out in 2019, and those sequels jumped ship to Netflix.
This weekend, the horror film Wolfman, produced by Ryan Gosling and Jason Blum, debuts on the big screen. Do you think Wolfman will scare up momentum at the box office?
I don't, Angie, and I think we could see some really solid numbers for Wolfman this week. Some years ago, Universal began what it thought was going to be the launch of a new dark universe dedicated to the old Universal monster movies, but that all came crashing to a halt after The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Other films were canceled, but maybe that was what they needed to take a leap forward, thanks to Leigh Whannell, who offered a really fresh and scary take on The Invisible Man back in 2020, a film that had its run cut short as it opened just 2 weeks before the pandemic began. It still managed to gross over $70 million in 3 weeks' time and over $140 million globally. And January has proven over time to be a great month for horror releases. 8 of the top 20 openings of this month have been for horror movies or horror-related titles. Invisible Man opened at $28 million. Joe Johnston's version of The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro opened to $31 million back in 2010. I think this could do right in the area of both of those, if not higher, and be the first solid success for 2025.
Technically, there are still some late releases from 2024 expanding across theater screens this weekend, and you say one is not to be missed.
I do, Angie. This is definitely one to find when it comes to your area, as it made my top 15 of last year. It is Nickel Boys, Ramel Ross's powerful film based on the true story of 2 young black men who meet at a Florida correctional facility during the era of Jim Crow. Ross tells the story from their unique and literal points of view, through great performances, especially by Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor as one of the boys' grandmother, and striking editing. This is a very emotional experience that I thought about for days afterwards. Now, this is one of many films in hopes of Oscar nominations. They were originally supposed to take place tomorrow, but due to the tragic wildfires out in California, they have now been postponed to January 23rd. Now, we'll stay tuned for further delays, but nothing is more important out there right now than the continuing response to these fires. Our hearts are with them, and here is hoping people keep their eye on the ball for the families that have been affected.
Much to watch for the long holiday weekend. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you, Angie.